Hi, welcome. Glad you stopped by. I'm continuing my series on how I know that God is real through the many miracles, healings, and the audible voice of the Lord that I've heard. And this one here is when I was 9 years old and I got baptized in the Pacific Ocean. Let me tell you about it. So our church got together, and all of us that wanted to be baptized got baptized. They did the children first, and then they were going to do the adults. Well, when they got done with me, I decided to walk down the way away from the crowd so that I could play in the water by myself and not bother anybody. And that wasn't odd because we lived a mile from the beach and I played in the beach a lot. We went to the beach a lot. But anyway, I was playing in the water this time, swimming, and I looked up over me and there was a big giant wave that had rolled up over my head, way up there. Now I look back as, probably 9 foot or so high. It was way up there. And I said, oh my gosh, there's no way I had a chance to get away from it either way. It was coming down and it hit me flat on the head and smashed me into the sand on the bottom of the Pacific Ocean floor. And that as it hit me, I started trying to get up to move my feet and my hands, nothing. The water was so heavy I couldn't move nothing. And I was just smashed to the bottom with all that heavy water on top of me. And all of a sudden it was pushing so hard and I was rolling and tumbling and rolling and tumbling up towards the shoreline. But I couldn't. I was fighting to get my head up above the water so I could breathe. And I couldn't get my head up and it was getting tough. I needed to breathe. And I said, Lord, I can't breathe. And I said, I'm going to have to take a breath in a minute. If I can't get no air, I'm going to die. And so I was tumbling and tumbling and tumbling and I was fighting and fighting. I was exhausted and I said, okay, I can't get my head up, Lord, and this is it. I got to take a breath. And I said, when I take that breath, Lord, I know I'm going to die because I'm going to breathe water in when I breathe that in. And I said, Lord, would you take me to heaven with you? Please don't let me go to hell. When I take that breath, I want to be with you in heaven. So anyway, Lord, I'm fixing to have to take that breath and just take me with you. And those are the words I told him. And so anyway, I got ready and I said, okay, Lord, I'm taking that breath. And when I started taking the breath to breathe in, for some reason, I was not breathing water. I was breathing air. And I didn't know how in the world am I breathing air. So I opened my eyes. My eyes were still under water. I seen water, but my nose was breathing air. And then in a second, I popped up out of the water and I was on my mom's foot. My mom was standing right there and I landed on her foot the exact second I had to take that breath. If it would have been a second off, because my eyes hadn't even cleared the water yet, but my nose did. And I was breathing air and not water. I never could understand how in the world did that happen. Lord, that had to be you. My breath was air. And I said, wow. And anyway, I picked my head up and I was out of the water, but I was on my mother's foot. My mother was way down there the last time I saw by the baptizing. And I had walked way off. She was nowhere around. And even back then I thought, how in the world did she get up here? She wasn't nowhere around here. How did I end up on her foot at the second that I had to take that breath? Thank God he was right there. He raised me up out of that water with Mama's foot. And Mama watched me roll up to her feet, lifeless. I wasn't moving nothing. I was just tumbling like a tumbleweed in the water. And I'm sure she thought I was dead because there was no movement at all. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't move or nothing. I was just there. But anyway, when she lifted me up and I finally popped up and seen her, she said, are you all right? And I said, Yes. And I just took off away from her because if I told her, I was afraid I'd be the one in trouble. So I didn't tell her what happened. I didn't tell her I almost drowned and I just walked off. But anyway, the Lord was right there in that very present time of help. He was right there. And so I praise God for that. And if y'all could like and subscribe to my videos so they'll put them out. And thank you for coming by and joining me today. I'll see you on the next video.